Hello, world. Welcome to the resistance. Welcome to the vocal minority with Nick and Steve. Thank you for being part of the 48%, the vocal minority. The revolution will not be televised. I repeat, the revolution will not be televised. It will, however, be podcast, because here in the club, we all fam. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to another fantastic podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in, turned on, and turned up with the vocal minority with Nick and Steve.
Yeah. If we don't say so ourselves, it's another fantastic podcast. I find these podcasts highly entertaining. I'm a big fan, loyal listener.
Hey, dude, here's the truth about it, that oftentimes I listen to my own podcast. You know, it's what a professional does, just to make sure I'm conveying my message clear. I'm never bored by my own podcast.
It's a very fair point. I think you and I have been doing this long enough that we know what good and bad content is, talk radio, podcast, whatever it is. So yeah, we're pros. We listen back for all sorts of, self-evaluation, but I also find it highly entertaining. There's many times I put on the show, like, I'm going to listen to 10 minutes, and I get sucked in 30, 40 minutes, or I'm like, man, it's just kicking by.
I hear you, dude. The same thing happens to me. And usually, like, if Rachel walks in the room while I'm listening to it, she's like, no, don't turn, keep it playing, you know. So I think people want to listen.
It's damn straight. You kind of gave me grief last week for listening to my former rock band while playing Yahtzee in the art of lovemaking, as if that was like egocentric or something.
Oh, so egocentric, dude. Listen, I'm listening to this podcast to better myself. Like, you weren't musically training your ear while you were dipping the poon.
No, I think it's a similar thing. I want good music playing while I'm making sweet, sweet love. And who makes better music than yourself? Right.
Right. I suppose, dude. I'm going to let it go. I mean, I don't hold it against you. I can't say that I wouldn't do it, so.
Now, I do not listen to this podcast. That's like, humans talking. That's distracting. But if you and I put out an album, I'm sure I'd listen to that. So.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to do something sexy, a little sexy segment or something, so you can try and get down to it.
All right. Valid thoughts. 2025 goals. Put it on the list.
There you go. Welcome to the podcast. See our social media. We're on TikTok. We're on Reddit, YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Blue Sky. And we also have a webpage.
Yep, thevocalminority.net. It's our very own website. All those social medias. We're doing a lot of fun stuff there. So comment, like, share, etc. And we do have our comment phone line where you can pick up a telephone and leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it or laugh at it or do something with it.
Find something to do with it. 844-48-VOCAL. 844-48-VOCAL. Welcome to the show.
Maybe we'll make sweet love while listening to your voicemail. That would be less weird because that's not us. So.
Yeah, that's true. I get excited when people call. That's what this show is created for. You, the vocal minority, turning your telephone into a microphone. So, yeah, I get horny by it.
Yeah, well, there you go. And as always, lots going on. I know we're heading into the holiday season here, but boy, the news cycle, politics, nothing has taken any downtime. So we're here for, your news show this week. And then I think we'll just do one show this week and next week. I think that's our plan. And then get back in the grind after the new year.
Hey, we got to take a beat, right? So we can rest our mind, spend some time with family. Also, you and I have talked about this before over the years that we've known each other, but I was maybe like 30 some years old, early 30s, before I noticed that not everyone loves Christmas, that not everyone thinks it's the jolliest time. And it has changed a bit for me as I've gotten older because you're missing people that aren't here anymore, stuff like that. But isn't it funny, dude? Based on how your life is going, the holidays are either at an 8 or a 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I think Christmas is a joyous time for most, but the only people that it's not is because there's, some sort of tragedy or shortcoming tied to it. And
yeah,
I think it's wonderful if we've all lived long enough lives where that was never an issue. But it is for a lot of people. Seasonal depression, a real thing, or just, isolation, loneliness, loss of somebody in your life, be it from death, a divorce, breakups, someone moving across the country, whatever it is. So.
Yeah, every one of them. I'll tell you a nice compliment that Rachel told me. She said to me yesterday or the day before, here's the deal. It's my wife. like I talk to her about things you and I discuss, like she cares about your life and stuff like that. So she says yesterday, you know what? I love the way that Kennedy is loving Steve. Like you can tell just through my stories that she was like, you know what? He feels loved. She's loving him. She's doing it upright.
Yeah, she sure is. You know, I mean, unfortunately, we won't be together on actual Christmas Day. She is back in our. We're both from Michigan originally, so she's back there with some family. But yeah, we did our little Christmas celebration a couple of nights ago, and it was chart-topping success. I mean, the fun, the love, the joy, and this is not me being some Hallmark movie. Like, it was a legitimately wonderful evening. So yeah, I feel very gifted and loved to have, gotten her in my life this year.
Well, that's awesome. Here's the deal. We are going to get into some news stories, things that are not as light and fluffy, even as depressed Christmas. Yeah. So strap in and hold on and hang on tight.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Hi, Stephen. This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Do you have a counselor, Clem? Because if you weren't holiday depressed before, after this episode,
you about to be.
Not because of Nick and I. We're bundles of joy as always. But just stuff in the news and the pending new year. And as I keep telling everyone, enjoy the holidays. The world hasn't gone crazy quite yet, but we're seeing a lot of foreshadowing, aren't we?
Yeah, I would say we called Cleo, the psychic from TV, and she told us, it's about to get real.
Yeah, whatever happened to those? Can you still call the 800 number or whatever for psychics or whatever that kind of thing was?
I think you can, but no one, it's Cleo. You remember, she was Jamaican or something, and she was fantastic. I think she's dead.
No, didn't see that coming, did you, Cleo?
No, she didn't.
All right, here's some news that we need to discuss. Our soon-to-be president, our soon-to-be king, Mr. King Trump, seems to be suggesting taking over the world, and I don't find this to be one of those ha-ha sorts of things. So Trump suggests that the United States should take ownership and control of Greenland, and then he starts talking about taking over the Panama Canal. In Trump's post announcing his pick for ambassador to Denmark a couple of days ago, the president-elect again suggested that he wants the United States to buy and control Greenland. This is something he brought up in his first reign, and now he's coming back. So here comes this idea.
And don't forget, there's another one already in there, too, dude. He's mentioned Canada, loud volumes, let's make that a state. But he's also talked about it with Mexico.
Yeah, this is a valid point you bring up, because a lot of people are like, oh, just joking. You're right. He's talked about taking over Canada, talked about taking over Mexico. He's now recently brought up taking Greenland over and taking the Panama Canal from Panama.
Yes.
So Trump said, for purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. Does he know the Greenland's the icy one, do you think?
No, of course he doesn't.
So he did not elaborate further on the Greenland comment, but Trump had previously expressed this desire to take over the Danish territory. Greenland officials at the time slammed the proposal, saying the island, home to about 50,000 people, was, of course, not for sale. Danish officials also balked at the idea. Denmark's prime minister just today called the idea absurd. He said, thankfully, the time where you buy and sell other countries and populations is over.
Yeah, think. But well, that's right. Everyone talks about World War III, right?
Right. And then the other fun foreign policy thing he floated over this past weekend was, he threatened to take back control of the Panama Canal from the Central American country, drawing a rebuke from the Panamanian president, who said the sovereignty and independence of our country is not negotiable. Okay, but let's be serious here. That reminds me of Putin. Putin in Ukraine, the Ukraine saying, we're a sovereign country, you're not allowed to come take us. And Putin just saying, you know what, I'm a dictator, and this is what dictators do. They try to redraw the map for their vanity. And I guarantee this is where Trump's mind is going, that he wants to put his stamp on the world. He wants to take over something.
Oh yeah, he does. I mean, like he said, if he said one time, like maybe Canada should become a state, you're funny. But I think he's got big plans, dude. I don't think he realizes the pushback he's going to get, because after all, he ran on, hey, my last term we had no new wars, like I'll continue that, but I don't think that you can do both. You can't take all that shit and then not get into a war.
I'm starting to wonder if Trump is smart enough, and I hesitate to say that on any topic, but let's just say he were to try to take the Panama Canal back. Who's going to stop him? Not Russia, not China. NATO, is our entire alliance going to form an alliance against us? We're usually the ones leading the cause to not let authoritarians take over countries and more nations, or more real estate.
Sure, but keep in mind that there's already been a promise made to drop NATO. I mean, he'll leave NATO.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to test limits in a way that no one ever thought we would. And whether he can follow through with any of this or not, I don't know. But these are not jokes he's making. He wants to redraw the map. He wants to stake claim that Trump took over some, nation or some borders or whatever. So, yeah, Canada, Mexico, Greenland, and now Panama. I would be legitimately nervous if I was you. I would not take this as a joke, and I would start pushing back vehemently.
Do you want to hear a little what he had to say at Turning Point USA, or I believe that was the conference he was at on Sunday, and he spoke about it.
Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal? Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly, and without question. I'm not going to stand for it.
Without question. I love how he says, like, the fees they're charging are so unfair, and it's exactly what you want to do to everybody else. So your medicine tastes good, I hope.
Yeah. I like that he started it off saying, hey, who's heard of the Panama Canal? That tells me that somebody just told him about it.
Yes.
And now he's like, it's like, hey, have you heard of this new Star Wars movie? Like, it's a new thing to him. And so that's his new little toy, his new bone to pick. So, yes. And the fact that all of his minions just cheered so emphatically, as if they've been thinking about this. Like, you're right. The Panama Canal has been ripping us off. I've been saying this for years now.
You're so right, dude. I mean, they just jump on shit. Like, you know what? I'm going to tell you. I've maybe thought about the Panama Canal like maybe 2 times in the last 10 years. Like, no one thinks about it, right?
Right.
So, yeah, like somebody told him about the Panama Canal, and then people are like, yeah, those guys are ripping us off. You don't even know. He went on to talk about, like, you don't know, Jimmy Carter got the Panama, or sold the Panama Canal for $1. Okay. Trump was like, but all our men, we lost, 50,000 people from malaria. Have you ever heard of mosquito malaria? And talks about the great sacrifice it was. The Panama Canal, I know, has grown exponentially. And the bigger problem that he is not talking a lot about is that he thinks that China is now controlling the Panama Canal. He's got good friends. He's good friends with President Xi, and you know what? That's going to stop.
Yeah, listen, I know we helped build the Panama Canal, and we had no choice. It's strategically located, and it opened up shipping routes for the entire world, which was massively to our benefit. And yes, years later, under Carter, we, essentially signed the full rights back to the country that we helped build it in. And it's been theirs ever since. It would be one thing if Trump said, like, hey, listen, I'm going to renegotiate with Panama for better deals or whatever the hell it is.
Yes.
As if anyone has any idea what we're paying and what would be fair or anything else. No one in that crowd has any clue. And every expert I've heard this just past day has been like, I don't even know what he's talking about. So renegotiate, sure, I guess, good luck. But just to immediately go to, we're taking the Panama Canal back. It's not funny. It's what fucking dictators do and say, and he is not joking.
He ended it. He said, when we take it over, we'll be fast and without question. That's a dictator, dude. That's the definition of a dictator.
Absolutely. So, King Trump, the reign is beginning. And part of me is very curious to watch all of this just implode upon itself and to try to figure out, what is he blustering and what is he actually going to do? You're really going to try to buy Greenland as if you can just force them to sell it to you? Are you really going to invade Panama and take the canal?
Hey, dude, why don't you take care of Puerto Rico? If you want a side project, on a faraway land that we own, go take care of Puerto Rico, dude.
Yeah, no. It's all valid, but and this was, I think, Trump's first sort of rally, since the election, and this is the sort of craziness that's being spewed already. And I don't know if you could find out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you could hear in that clip, but he was slurring his speech. You mentioned it being his first kind of rally back, and he was excited, dude. He loved being in front of the crowd again. He has been sharing the limelight as of late with President Musk, and people are talking, and it's starting to get back to him, which I think is funny too.
Yes. Well, do you want to talk about that? Because that's on my list here.
Yeah, let's talk about it. He addressed, like I said, I think he was at Turning Point USA. Do I have that right?
You do, yes, in Arizona,
okay.
Phoenix.
Yeah, in Arizona. So
the America Fest Conference.
Yeah. It looked, all that was missing were bed sheets, dude. It looked like a Klan rally. He talked about everyone saying Elon.
Elon Musk has now wedged himself right in the middle of the Trump transition team, and everyone is starting to wonder if the world's richest man is now, calling the shots instead of the 78-year-old lame duck president that is Donald Trump.
The new one is President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on? So we want to thank him. But no, he's not going to be president, that I can tell you. And I'm safe. You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country.
What the hell, dude?
Okay, first of all, I do love that he points out that, Musk is actually an immigrant, and everyone seems to be forgetting that. But I love that he said that, no, I have not ceded it to Elon Musk. Hey, idiot, nobody thought you officially ceded it to him. He just took it, bought you. You are the owned puppet now of Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, who is now worth over $400 billion because his net worth almost doubled since Election Day. Because, all this dark money is going into his company, his stock's going up. And so, yes, I do believe we have a shadow president, a prime minister Musk, whatever you want to call it. But I do think Elon Musk is calling the shots. So, Vice President Trump or Chief of Staff Trump, whatever the hell you want to really call him. I don't think anyone thinks Musk ran or won any votes, because obviously he didn't. He has taken it from you, Trump. He is now the leader, the president. That's who everyone is looking to. And this is driving him nuts, by the way. So I think we should all just keep driving this point home.
Yeah, I think the media should always refer to President Musk and Vice President Trump. I really do. Get under his skin, dude.
And what does that make JD? Is he like Waterboy now?
Yes, dude. I don't know, but the projections are that if Trump does leave office after 4 years, that JD Vance will, the Republican Party, MAGA Party, will be behind JD Vance for president. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
I tend to doubt that. Who's even seen JD Vance since Election Day? He doesn't seem to be anyone's favorite. So I don't think Trump's going to live through the next 4 years. So he may be president at some point, but I can't imagine he's the one they're all going to rally behind in 4 years and put all their weight there.
Yeah, I mean, I said the same thing about Trump, though. In 2016, I was like, they're not. It's not really going to happen, guys.
Yeah, well, that might be fair, but yeah, I love that it's getting under Trump's orange, crusty old man skin. That everyone thinks Musk is in charge, and this is what you've empowered, Trump. The guy gave you over $250 million. He bought and owns you now. And as we saw last week with this debt ceiling negotiation, everyone was looking at him and his Twitter feed. They weren't looking at you, buddy. So,
yes. And obviously, dude, like you mentioned, that his wealth has near doubled since the election. And, all kinds of economists and financial people are talking about the fact that, he's not divesting from his business because obviously it's not required. Or is it? But he's going to be running all these efficiency things for this Doge thing. And he will also have the power and capacity to change regulations for EV vehicles, all that kind of stuff that he's doing right now. SpaceX, can you imagine the contracts that he will forcibly just give himself?
Absolutely. And the problem is he's not going to be an official government employee, nor is this Doge thing any sort of official government branch. They're basically to be consulting for Trump, and Trump will do whatever Musk and Ramaswamy are saying. So the accountability is going to be non-existent because his actual job is non-existent, but his power is going to be almost indefinite and endless. So this is super crazy, and it's why we should probably all be driving this wedge between the two of them, because they are a dynamic duo. And by the way, Musk is Batman in this little analogy. Trump is a little Robin now. But
yes,
this is dangerous for America, for democracy, for planet Earth, for future generations to come. So Musk has got to be taken down a notch. So yes, everyone please keep calling him, I don't know what we're going with, Shadow President Musk, just President Musk, Prime Minister Musk, I've been hearing now. Whatever it is, keep poking at this bear, because we need to put a wedge between these two. And Trump's ego at some point will catch up to it. He's going to realize that Musk has taken the limelight, and Trump won't be okay with that.
Yes, he's already, people have reported on the fact that Musk has been spending so much time at Mar-a-Lago that, Trump's not getting all the attention he normally does. He has to share this limelight a little bit, and he's growing tired of it. So
I love that he said that Musk can't be president. He can't be president. He wasn't born in this country. You're really putting thought into this, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, dude. You can hear him thinking it out right there. And he should be worried, dude. He should be worried.
The entire freaking planet should be worried. And, I'm old enough to remember the good old days when the Republicans were all these shadowy billionaires controlling the Democrats, George Soros and Bill Gates. And now all of a sudden they are warmly embracing a shadowy billionaire, openly, overtly controlling them at every twist and turn here.
Twice in a row, because they already idolized Donald Trump, who is not liquid billionaire, but he's a billionaire. And now Musk, they don't seem to care what happened to George Soros, dude, and the money machine that was the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Not to mention the multiple other billionaires that are now either going to be cabinet members or in the administration. I mean, you have handed the keys over to the mega wealthy who are going to take care of themselves first and foremost.
Ramaswamy's a billionaire too, I think.
Yeah, he is.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah. My brother tells me this. I know we hear different news because I don't watch Fox News, dude. And I know even our local news is different from Seattle to Omaha. I don't know what he knows about Musk other than when he talks to me about him, he says it's kind of exciting to have such a genius here to maybe make some or suggest some good changes. And I think to myself, for years, he's a Republican. He's always told me, you can't put these people in there that are already wealthy, and they're also going to have control freak, tendencies. These people are greedy. That's why they're rich, dude.
Yeah. It's just another prime example of the hypocrisy. When they have their own little shadowy billionaire running things, they're completely fine with that and will bend over to their omnipotency. But God forbid, Bill Gates opens his mouth about a vaccine or something. Then it's, we're all being controlled by the billionaire class.
You know what? It's funny that you bring that up because I thought to myself a couple of days ago, like, if Kamala would have become our president, if she would have had like Bill Gates doing exactly what Elon is doing, like they would have shit their pants.
Of course. And by the way, no one has ever done the equivalent on the left. Even if you want to say that a George Soros is pumping in money like the Koch brothers were or something, which is, debatable, but yeah, Elon Musk has taken his platform and is using it to manipulate the masses, to spread propaganda and lies and put his thumb on the scale. We never have seen any other billionaire do anything remotely close to that. And as I keep pointing out, this was literally the plot of a fucking Bond movie where the Bond villain bought a media outlet and was using it to manipulate everyone.
Dude, this is also a real life scenario, and I know Republicans don't like it when we relate people to Hitler, but when I was in Berlin last year, I got to go to the museums, learn a little bit of history and stuff like that. And as far as what they did with their media at that time in Germany, they were saying the same shit, and they were controlling the media. The government was, but they were saying we're for free speech. We want to be able to tell the truth to people, and it was all propaganda.
Yeah. Listen, Trump is trying to come for all of this stuff. He wants to redraw the map, put his stamp on taking over some territory somewhere, but he also wants to go after this freedom of speech, freedom of the press. He's already done it with ABC. He's doing it with this pollster in Iowa, and he's already been threatening, Stephen Colbert, SNL, Jimmy Kimmel, election interference. You're using your airtime to admonish me, and you just watch. I don't know if these things will go anywhere in the legal system, but he's going to try to make a public spectacle out of some journalist, comedian, whatever, and it will drag them through the mud. It'll cost them, millions in legal fees, and whether or not it succeeds, who knows? But with Trump's Supreme Court, I have no faith in democracy or, the justice system in general anymore.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I don't trust anything that's happening at this point. The day one promises that Trump made to y'all were obviously to close this border down. But this is for my trans brothers and sisters out there, okay? The way that he is treating you is beyond reprehensible. And he spoke at this rally again here for this on Sunday in Arizona. Let me tell you what he said about trans, okay?
With the stroke of my pen on day one, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy. And I will sign executive orders to end child sexual mutilation, get transgender out of the military and out of our elementary schools and middle schools and high school.
I had to cut cheering
we will
out.
keep men out of women's sports, and that will likewise be done on day one. Should I do day one, day two, or day three? How about day one, right? Under the Trump administration, it will be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
And the place is fucking erupts, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he is just fear-mongering to the umpteenth degree there, just whipping up the rubes there for a non-existent problem. And I thought they were the party of, like, less government, states' rights. Any sports league in this country is its own private entity. They can make their own goddamn rules. You don't need the government stepping in there. And, I mean, he's going to get people killed. And it's just a statement of fact that there are people that are transgender, okay? It's a real thing. So we're going to declare there's only two sexes in this country. Like,
I think a lot of the trans community would be like, we're not trying to say there's more than two sexes, like, but I want to be referred to as a male if I transition. Like, what's the problem? What is the freaking problem, dude? Trans people have been a part of our population since the beginning of time. It was done in different ways. There's more surgery available, more research, more study of the brain and what's happening and everything else. But it's been around forever, dude.
Of course, because it's a naturally occurring thing. It's a small percentage, but yes, some people's brains are wired differently. And like you said, they're not actually declaring a third gender. They're transitioning from one gender to the other. This whole gender neutral movement we've discussed before that the conservatives just keep falling for. It's just to get you people to think about what gender is. Of course, people understand they're one or the other, but they don't want to define it because that makes you try to define it, and that's the whole freaking point. It's hilarious to see how much they keep talking about it. You can't define what a woman is. Like, no, we can, but we're just tricking you into thinking about it constantly.
Yeah, and you refuse to do it. Yeah, I mean, think about it critically anyway, right?
Right. This notion of getting transgender out of elementary schools. What are you even talking about? The drag shows that aren't happening, gender reassignment surgery that is not happening on a 10-year-old.
I mean, he ran on the platform. He said it many times that kids are going to school and coming home the opposite sex. Like, that shows you know nothing about what this is all about.
What it's all about is bullying. You know, let's all team up with our hatred against this, minority class out there. Don't we all feel proud and emboldened and proud white America because we're going to stick it to this little discriminatory class?
You hate what you don't know. You are afraid of things that you don't know about. And this just shows that you don't have even a little bit of brain power going on here to try and understand the subject. So yeah, he'll make you scared and let you know it's happening everywhere. Don't lock your kids up, Yeah.
They are scared bullies, and bullies feel better in masses, in crowds of other bullies. That's why the Klan gets together. They all feel good when they're all sitting around sharing their narrow-minded little views with each other. They feel emboldened. So yeah, Trump's just whipping up fear against a class of people that has done jack and shit to anyone.
Trump went on in this Turning Point USA convention, Arizona, on Sunday with this quick comment just to kind of wrap things up.
We're going to stop woke. Woke is bullshit.
Yeah.
Stay asleep, I mean, This woke is bullshit. I mean, again, they're just attacking progressive values, and this is something we all just have to weather the storm. Keep our little torches of freedom lit,
Yeah,
not tiki torches, but our own little torches. And yeah, this is what we're walking into, people. Batten down the hatches.
I think I've let you know before that we have someone who we feel like is family to us that works with Rachel, and she's a dreamer, and she's worried about deportation and stuff like that. And Rachel was telling me, they're talking about going to your job, going to your business office to get these people and take them away. And I was like, what reality are we in right now? That is so crazy. Look, gang members that have killed people, stuff like that are here illegally, I get it. But the people that have been living here and only know this as their home and are contributing to society in a positive way, I don't get this.
Yeah, no, it's insanity. They are absolutely going to come to workplaces. They will start with, the factories or the farms, the easy and obvious ones, but it won't end there. And there was I don't know which department it was, but they had a rule basically saying that border immigration enforcement, ICE, that they can't go into like a church or a school to arrest somebody for these things. Like these were supposed to be sort of, protected grounds. Well, Trump's already announced we're getting rid of that rule. So you can pick up anyone, anywhere, anytime, whether it is a factory or a law firm. It does not matter. We're coming after you. And
yeah.
You and I were talking this week about they were interviewing people in a border town down in Texas that voted red for the first time. And all of these people down there that come from mixed immigration status families where some are legal and some aren't, we're all saying, like, he's not going to deport anyone. That was just a speech. He won't really do it. He's really going to do it. I promise you.
Yes. His border czar, the man that is in charge. He's wanted this done for a long time and finally sits under a president that wants the same thing. So it's happening.
Yeah. And Trump has nothing to lose. He doesn't have to run for re-election. There is no these people voted for him. He's going to upset them and alienate. He doesn't care. He doesn't need them anymore. He got what he needed out of you, your vote. He told you that's all he wanted out of you, and now you're going to see it.
The only possibility of things that could limit what he could do is the economy's going to go to shit, dude. I mean, we're going to have a food shortage, farming. We're going to have a ton of shortage issues in this country that y'all aren't going to like, which is going to drive up prices even further. He already told you, those grocery prices I said I was going to, take down, they're tough to take down once they're set, so.
Gee, let me predict what's going to happen. He's going to fuck everything up, and then a Democrat will take over, spend 4 years fixing it. No one will think it got fixed quickly enough, so then we're going to vote a Republican in, let them fuck it up for 4 more years, hand it back to us. I mean, this is the cycle we've been doing since, I don't know, the 80s.
Isn't it time to get rid of the independent party?
Yes. I mean, we've been talking about this forever, that the third party is just a spoiler. If you want a third party candidate, quote unquote, you've got to get them to run under one of the two umbrellas, Democrat or Republican, during the primaries. They need to co-opt the party like Trump did for the Republicans, because the third party is just never going to get enough votes. Speaking of the good old days, the most successful third party candidate in our lifetime was Ross Perot. It was the original George Bush, Bill Clinton, and Ross Perot. Even Perot, that scored upper teens, low 20% of the vote, he couldn't do it, and all he did was spoil it for the Republicans and let Clinton win. I mean, Clinton probably would have won, but he made it significantly easier. And 2.5 million votes in this last election went to third-party candidates. Those are just poof, gone, meant nothing.
Jill Stein. These are people sometimes that I like but just you got to go Democrat, dude. Stop it. Quit jacking around.
I want to punch all of them in the balls. I don't care if Jill Stein has them or not. RFK, Jill Stein, there was some other douchebag. You have zero chance. Stop pretending like you're making some principled stance and running to give you a third-party choice. No, you're screwing things up. And if you don't vote, or if you vote third party, you're only voting for the winner by default. So congratulations, y'all helped Trump win.
I almost feel like those people like voting third party because then at the end of the day, nothing is their fault. I voted for someone completely different, not my fault.
Yeah, I have a lot of these arguments online with people. I finally realized they either didn't vote or they voted third party because they think they're making some principled stance, but you're outthinking the entire process. I don't care if you like that we have a two-party system or not. We do. There's only two candidates each time that have a valid chance at winning. So pick a side and get out there. And if your side's not perfect, welcome to fucking reality.
It's so true, dude. It is so true. I mean, it's time to wake up. Woke is not bullshit, dude. Wake up.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
How was Nick handling the news?
I haven't gotten into it yet, dude. Just relax for a second. Let me see what I'm going to do here. For crying out loud. We know who Matt Gaetz is, right? I mean, we should probably talk about Matt Gaetz. The House Ethics report has been released, right? And boy, this guy was up to, just like we thought, was up to all kinds of terrible shit.
Well, hold on. The Republicans are the party of family values. And as we just heard in Trump's speech, I mean, they're all about protecting children and the youth from transgendered and sexual predators and whatnot. So I assume the report on Matt Gaetz exonerated him and showed him to be a divine angel.
I don't know if that is true. The House Ethics Committee released this explosive report detailing the investigation of sexual misconduct allegations against former Rep. Matt Gaetz. We know he's from Florida. Most people from Florida are trash. I mean, yes. I don't shouldn't have to justify that, but
listen, 90% of my police body cam videos are from Florida because that's where all the crazy people are.
Florida's a cesspool. This was a 37-page report showing that Matt Gaetz regularly paid for sex, including with a 17-year-old girl from at least 2017 when he began serving in the White House until 2020. So this was going on in lockstep with him serving people.
Yes, a 17-year-old that he trafficked across state lines. He apparently spent over $90,000 paying women for sex. That is pathetic.
And just think about that for a minute here. You would think for the MAGA type that you have the options for a lot of freebies, right? So this is only what he's paying for, $90,000. He was slamming Red Bulls and cocaine. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that he has taken part in, and now people know it, but I don't think it's going to matter at all.
Of course it's not going to matter at all. I mean, that's the pathetic part. The family values, protecting the children out there. This guy was banging a child. Okay, that is skeezy. This woman was a junior in high school when this started. He's done this with multiple other women, and yes, he's doing all sorts of drugs while he is serving our country. But MAGA will not care whatsoever, because this is the illusion they keep putting out there. That, these are allegations against Matt Gaetz or Pete Hegseth, and you can't believe allegations. So are you telling me if somebody is found guilty in a court of law, then you're going to believe it and accept it? Obviously not. You voted for Trump, who's been found guilty of this, that, and every other thing out there. So allegations mean nothing. Extensive investigations like this has been called mean nothing to you. And guilty verdicts mean nothing to you because you live in a delusional bubble and you'll convince yourself it's all fake. Anything you don't like has to be fake.
You're 100% right. This was not just an allegation paper. I mean, some of these things were found to be true. It found that he accepted impermissible gifts, including lodging and transportation, during a trip to the Bahamas. Investigators also concluded that Gaetz used or possessed cocaine and ecstasy between 2017 and 2019. The payments amounted to more than tens of thousands of dollars for sex and drugs.
Fake news, Nick. Fake news. Fake news, obviously. Investigators found, quote, substantial evidence that Gaetz did all of this stuff. And just to show you how guilty Gaetz was, he tried just in the last 24 hours here to get a restraining order in U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia to prevent this report from coming out. The courts denied him that order. This all came out. I mean, why would you not want a report to come out, the truth to come out? Unless it obviously paints you to be a perverted sexaholic banging high school girls.
That's the one that they caught him on. I'm telling you, this is not his first minor, it's indiscretion is what some may call it, but it's rape. So there you go.
Of course.
Matt Gaetz also spoke to the Turning Point USA crowd. And I don't know, this is kind of where he stood up on stage. He had a lot of echo on his microphone, and he decided to talk about, people are wondering, people are saying, what are you going to do, Matt Gaetz, now?
Many have asked which perch I will be fighting from next. And some of you throughout this conference have even given me a few suggestions. My fellow Floridians have asked me to eye the governor's mansion in Tallahassee. Maybe special counsel to go after the insider trading for my former colleagues in Congress. It seems I may not have had enough support in the United States Senate. Maybe I'll just run for Marco Rubio's vacant seat in the United States Senate.
He's just spitballing, dude. I mean, I could fight from any perch here. What do you guys want?
Maybe a special prosecutor should go after you, or you can make yourself special prosecutor and then prosecute yourself because you know what you did. And that echo you hear on the microphone, I think it's reverberating between the dead space in his head.
Or he's standing in an actual echo chamber because these people only hear themselves. That's the truth.
Totally. It is beyond disturbing. I would hope this would be the end of his political career. If he was a Democrat, it sure as hell would be. But yeah, he might be who knows, the governor, the senator. I mean, the MAGA types will probably rally around him even more. And yes, they will just deny that all of this could possibly be true. They were ready to make him attorney general until even he realized the shitstorm was too big and drew his own name out. But this won't change anything. It's all fake news, Nick. All fake news.
It's all fake news. I guess that's right.
And let's even just take this down a notch. It's one thing to say we should have standards for politicians. What about, I don't know, like TV news anchors? if anyone on MSNBC was found a report that outlined any of this, they would all be fired instantaneously. Matt Gaetz just signed a new contract to be a talk show host on OAN, the even worse version of Fox News. You think they're going to fire him, or are they going to promote him from an extra hour every day? Like, I doubt they're going to distance themselves at all.
They love that. And let's be real clear. People over at Fox News, female reporters, have been raped. We heard it with Bill O'Reilly. Some misconduct happened with Bill O'Reilly when he was there. But then when I went to see that Apprentice movie about Donald Trump, like, it talked about these hot women at Fox, dude. And if they want to continue to get their rise, they make something else rise forcibly.
Yeah, no, for sure. We've seen some leave and file lawsuits, and I mean, we've heard all sorts of stories. This is what you people have brought on yourselves, okay? Again, you lay with dogs, you get fleas. You hire a bunch of rapists, and you're probably going to get forcibly sodomized. So,
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
All right, I mean, continuing the theme here of FAFO, fuck around and find out people. They've been telling us for years that the good guy with a gun is what's going to save us in any of these public shootings, or if the restaurant's being robbed, or whatever it is. There are seriously gun nuts out there that feel that if every person had a gun, that we would all be significantly safer because we could all defend ourselves. Everyone's got a gun now. It's like the Wild West, which according to many movies was not the safest of places. So how about this little news story? Wave of red state laws may be driving road rage shootings. The number of shooting incidents stemming from road rage has doubled in the last 5 years, from just over 200 in 2018 to just shy of 500 last year. This is from the Every Town for Gun Safety, a prominent gun law reform group. Figure amounts to a driver opening fire at someone in traffic every 18 hours. The sharp jump in road rage incidents contrasts with an overall decline in violence nationwide, despite what the MAGA people try to tell you. So violence going down, but these road rage shootings going up. Why would that be? The group highlighted a significant connection that may help explain it. Road rage incidents have increased most in the states that have enacted laws that allow people to carry concealed weapons without a permit, meaning they don't have to go through the application to get a concealed weapons permit. So you make it easier for people to have guns. And road rage spiking. This is what would happen in bar fights, whatever. If you get people in a pissy environment and everyone's got guns, of course there's going to be more shootings.
Of course, dude. And there's, nothing to check on your background. Anyone could just have a gun. For how often Trump and his cronies talk about how mentally ill the Democrats all are. Like, why would you want us to have those guns if we're mentally ill? And what's the deal with shooting out the window? Like New Jack City, like this is a drive-by all of a sudden. People are sticking it out the sunroof, sticking it out the window, and they just want to let you know, like, this is what I got, and then firing off rounds. That is fucking crazy to me.
Right. That is so America right there. I have a gun, but I'm so fat and lazy that I'm not going to get out and chase you. I'm just going to fire some shots out the window, wave my gun in your face, whatever it is. But it's always been an absurd notion that somehow more guns would lead to less gun violence.
Yeah. It's not the car, it's the driver. However you're going to try and frame this, more guns, more dumb people that have guns, more violent people. I thought there were so many criminals here, dude. You want everyone to have a gun? Like, you can't speak out of both sides of your mouth.
There was a shooting at the the Chiefs that won the Super Bowl last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And at their big celebration party, or, a few weeks after the Super Bowl, a shooting broke out. And at first we all thought it was another public shooting. Somebody showed up with a gun to a big event and started shooting people. No, it was idiots that had concealed weapons that got in a fight with each other. They start shooting. Someone else thinks they're a good guy that's going to save the day. They start shooting. Everyone's just shooting because all these people had guns there in Kansas City. And it's fucking comical.
The Wild West is exactly what we're talking about. We just had a stabbing in Seattle last week. Guy at a bus stop stabbed 5 people. And the huge narrative for the whole thing were these MAGA people coming out and being like, I thought only an AR could take, mass killings and blah, blah, blah. It's not the gun. It's the person. Like, you fucking idiot, dude.
Did all 5 of those people die?
No, one of them died.
Right, exactly. There's a famous story that on literally the same day as the Sandy Hook shooting, that some guy in China went into a school and started stabbing kids. And, guess what? None of them died. Because obviously surviving a stab is significantly easier than surviving a shot from an assault weapon that bores a hole through you and is designed to make you bleed out. So obviously you don't want to be stabbed, but if you give me a choice between being shot with an AR-15 or being stabbed, obviously you're going to take being stabbed any day of the week.
Again and again, dude. And not only that, I will tackle the guy with the knife. If I see the guy with the gun, dude, I'm not going anywhere near him.
Yes. Yeah. Nope. More guns, more safety. That I mean, we're literally seeing it in black and white. Just the premise falling apart. Is this going to change any of their minds? No. There's no changing their minds on any goddamn topic there is. No. They're just right. And if something disagrees with their narrative, it has to be fake. This is the stark difference between liberals and conservatives. Liberals are open to facts, information, evolving stances. It's what we do. It's what being progressive is. You have to make progress, move forward. Conservative is staying where you are or going backwards, and you won't let facts permeate that bubble ever.
Realizing on the progressive side of things that even when something is going well, always thinking like, how could we make it even better? Like, you never stop. You keep going. You keep trying to perfect things. And that doesn't happen in the other party.
Nope. So, yeah, the era of FAFO, it just keeps, we're seeing it already as we're just rolling into the new year. This is going to be happening constantly.
January 20th. I mean, here, this is the thing I think we should do right now, if you're prepared to do it. For the vocal minority, the people that are listening, okay, you just threw a bunch of poop on my head. Like, do I just have to sit with it on there? Or how can you help me wash it off a little bit? Is there anything that we can be doing right now? Or is this totally just keeping people accountable and rolling through the 4 years?
It's accountable and rolling on. I mean, we got a chance for some midterm elections to maybe do a little positive good, but not much. No, it is fuck around and find out. It's hold people accountable, and let's, build up the momentum, the anger, the resentment, and everything else, so that hopefully in 4 years, a Democrat can take it back. And wouldn't it be awesome if it was some free-willing, super rich Democrat that didn't give a flying fuck about the norms, the standards, or anything else? What if the pendulum goes from the conservative to the ultra-liberal? Then none of the MAGA types are going to appreciate the executive branch having all this power. They're not going to like that at all.
We've got 4 years, dude, to taint the mind of Mark Cuban just in time, dude, for, he's going to run for president, right? And he's going to do everything woke. Woke, no longer bullshit.
Yeah. And again, people keep saying, like, boy, you liberals, you lost, you should just give up and go home. It's not what MAGA did when they lost in 2020. They rallied their troops, they doubled down, and they came back and they won. So it is absolutely what we must do. We lost the battle. We got to win the war.
To think about the fact that Trump at this rally at Turning Point USA on Sunday was still talking about the corruption in the 2020 election and still bitching about it.
Even in that Kirsten Welker interview, he kept slipping and saying, like, my opponent does this. Dude, the election's over. There is no more opponent, okay? Stop it with all of this stuff. I keep telling MAGA people in the comment section, like, dude, election's over. You won. You can stop saying that everything was fake and rigged. And like, who are you doing this for anymore? You won. You got away with your grift. Stop it. Just tell me the sky is blue on one topic, please.
I think they're doing it because it helps them sleep at night. I think they're doing it for themselves. That, this got driven into my head for so long that I believe it now. This is the truth. I'll never stop saying the truth.
Oh, yeah. And I keep seeing people say, like, the 2020 election was rigged. And in 2024, like, where'd the 18 million votes go, liberals? Those are those fake votes that you guys all rigged. Okay, first of all, what are you implying? That we all just forgot to rig this election? Like I said, hey, Nick, you rigged the election, and he handed it off to Dan, and Dan was like, hey, Larry, can you? And none of us did it. We all just overslept on election day and forgot to rig the election.
Yeah. People step in and say, well, the Republicans are smarter now. No, you're dumber, dude. We never rigged an election.
Well, and if we did, we apparently did it so well that you couldn't find any evidence of it. So why wouldn't we just do that again? Obviously, the answer is we didn't. And where did the 18 million votes go? Well, some went to Trump, some went to third party, and some stayed home. It's math. They didn't just evaporate. They either voted for someone else or they didn't vote. That's why we lost. You're right. We lost votes. Yes. Thank you for explaining the math of it all.
Oh, that's funny shit, man, because it is. It's just simple formula. It's just math. Like, you can't even see that.
No, it's not. We're almost out of time, but let me just throw one last quick fuck around and find out story over there. Citizens of Florida, careful what you wish for. They're no longer going to be able to get Pornhub starting in January.
Oof, you done did it to yourself, dude. The most depraved state.
That's like getting rid of the Walmart of porn. I know you can shop elsewhere, but Pornhub makes it damn widespread, convenient, and they got everything you could possibly be looking for. But now Florida's doing one of these age verification laws, and Pornhub is not playing that game. Pornhub has already taken themselves off the list. And let's see, Arkansas, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Carolina, Texas, Utah, and Virginia. And now Florida starting next month. Because they're correctly saying that this law where you're going to require us to verify adults' identity is requiring us to ask questions we shouldn't, hold data we shouldn't. Pornhub's thing is your device. If you're going to regulate it, make your device prove that you're 18. Because you're discriminating against the biggest and the best company out there, but people will, of course, go find porn everywhere else to the smaller sites that aren't going to follow this kind of law. So it's just an exercise in futility, and now all of these states don't get their porn as easily.
And like we said, not getting your porn is going to create very crabby people, first of all. And second of all, as far as the porn I see, I know a lot of porn is from Florida, dude.